So they're filling out a expenditure sheet.
Yep,
We're taking care of their labor. The cash sheet is basically how much cash do we think they're gonna have at the end of the year.
right,
The revenue sheet is looking at these revenue items because there's irregularities, because some months, some years, there may be some grant money in their revenue that they're not gonna get this year.
mm-hmm,
You know, so,
okay,
and you'll see when you start seeing this,
mhm,
it's like, okay, and then it's like with Justin, what grant money do you think you're gonna get this year? And that's estimated revenue.
okay,
And then, the other thing about the revenue, just as a maintenance item, is if you'll notice, there's a lot of negative revenues.
mhm,
And the way that works is it starts off with your estimated revenue, it deducts the revenue you've received to date, and the balance,
is
even if
what
it's
we're waiting
negative,
on,
is what you're waiting on. And what that means is if it's a negative number, you received more revenue than you estimated.
okay,
But you need to get rid of that negative number, so you have
Right.
to up your estimate. And that's a maintenance item that you might do
Okay.
once every month or something.
okay,
So when you look at somebody's revenue and they say, well, they say that they still got $200,000 of revenue, and you look and say, you know what, but there's $100,000 of negative revenue in that. They are really thinking they're getting 300,000. Am I making sense?
yep, yep,
Those are mental gymnastics that you don't want to have. The cleaner you keep things,
Yep.
the less you have to do that.
okay,
So if you wanna send information, you can send it to me,
okay,
and I can forward it to Terry.
I think
and then
that's
can
probably
send
the
you
best way, because Terry's
Okay.
kinda, and Norma will see that it gets
okay,
addressed. And you know, looking at this PowerPoint thing that I sent you just for kicks,
mhm,
I had put the budgeting timeline based on, you know, I sent you that nice little PowerPoint document from the state that has the
Yes.
barcodes and everything. It outlines when things are due.
okay,
And, what I am looking at, let's see, budget review. Because we, even though the year closes at the 30th of, June,
mhm,
it's not when our budget's due.
oh, correct,
And you maybe know this from what
Mm-hmm.
everything you've done, but what I show on this sheet, this is the budget overview.
cause I think I saw on there was like a pre-budget approval, and it seemed like there was like two steps, if that's different now. But it seems as if the budget's not due until like the second Thursday of September.
Well, what I'm saying is submit, okay,
But
there's an adopted budget on September 4th
Yep, okay,
of 25,
right,
and that's probably what you're talking about, I don't
Yeah.
know. And then there's submit final budget October.
yep,
And what's driving that, what pushes that out is the target for getting certified taxable values is
Mhm.
like August
Okay.
4th.
yep,
So I have a target preliminary budget approved the 21st of August.
okay,
And that's when we would give our public notice, so that by September 4th, we can do a final budget.
okay,
I had us engaging budget review sessions the 24th of June. And, that the preliminary budgets would be due from the departments by the 10th of June.
yeah,
But all of that, really, the real key there is September 4th, we need to adopt a final budget.
okay,
So, you know, we've already kind of engaged them,
mhm,
but I think we wanna start the week of the 24th. Let's maybe push that out a week.
so for that, is that like you wanna sit down and have like a work session with numbers so they know their
Yeah, it's
bottom
like,
line?
you know, it's like, we've had a chance to
Okay.
review your labor, we've had
Yep.
a chance to review your sheet that you filled out, we've had a chance to review the revenue and your cash, and we're ready to sit down with you. And in that session, I think we also wanna be prepared to tell these guys,
Mhm,
based on this, we think you wanna move X amount of money to cap in. all this has gotta be, we gotta move that money to cap M before the end of the year.
Right, correct.
So,
Okay.
so that, I think we're in good shape, honestly.
Okay.
Especially what you were able to do with getting those actual hours and whatnot, with helping to kind of hone in our labor
Yep.
estimate,
Mhm.
make sure we got that.
Mhm.
The other thing that does for me, by the way, sometimes I get into the detail, because it sounds kind of odd,
Yeah,
but it reinforces in my mind who works for us and everything.
yeah,
We got 68 people, or we think we'll have 68 people, 14.9, 15, you
Yeah.
know.
mhm,
And then so when somebody says, let's give $1.50 raise, you say, well, that's 58 people times 2080 hours.
Right,
Can we
right.
afford that or not? You
right,
know,
yeah,
that kind of thing. But I think right now, what I'm gonna plug into that labor sheet is, Mike, you said that who NACO went with 2.9 because that's the inflation rate?
Yeah.
2.9.
Right now, 2.9 is our inflation rate. Typically, that's what we do. But in the past years, we've given more because the inflation rate's been so high. I think last year, we gave 6.5. The year before, I think we gave 7.
Yeah, we were very
And the
You
year
guys are
before,
very
we gave
generous.
8. But that's because these guys, they
Yeah,
have to make enough, we have at least gotta cover inflation,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So, but this year, I think we'll probably just, and we base that on the compensation board's recommendation. Typically, that's what they recommend. And the way that we do that is we say, okay, we'll take 2.9, apply that to the clerk and reporter, and that dollar value is what everybody gets. So not everybody gets 2.9%, that's a mid-mark in salaries,
yeah,
so whatever that comes out
Right.
to, everybody gets that per hour. And we thought that was the fairest way. So that way, people that make less money get more, people that make more money get less. Like Ben, he'll probably not see anything. He already
Hi,
makes
Ben.
too much money. That was my observation.
please, speak your mind, Ben.
Well, did I say that out loud? He's an attorney, isn't he? I might have just stepped in.
I stepped in it again.
Yep.
You better be careful on your drive home.
That's right. Or if I get some legal notice, county attorney sues commissioner.
No, we don't usually give notice when a warrant goes out.
No, don't dare. He disappeared.
It's just a surprise for everybody.
That gives you an
So
advantage.
it's Snowy Mountains annual meeting. I got an email from Tanya, she said the 25th, and then she sent another email, said she made a mistake, it was the 26th.
Yeah, but did you see all the stuff we need to do? Or is she doing that?
She's doing that.
I think she sent it to every board member.
Possibly. But she also said it's at the senior center.
There's somebody supposed to come in at 10
That's
o'clock.
right. Let him come in.
How they get the senior center?
And then there's somebody at
Well, I'm
10:30,
sure
then
they
there's
did.
somebody at
Come
11.
in.
How are you, sir?
Old fat and tired.
See what I did?
You need to give me the motions for
So he's in his own court?
Who's that?
Lance Ledbetter. Driving privilege is suspended for revoke.
Who's that? Mike?
Yeah,
Turner?
yeah, Mike Turley.
Got his license suspended?
Oh, you know,
No, that's not him. We're being recorded.
he never got.
I was kidding.
I was stopped the other day for having too dirty of a pickup.
Really?
I was. On the highway, they couldn't read my
I'm
lips.
sorry, but I'm the one that had to report you.
I'm going back roads home now.
Oh, you can never read my plate,
I just came to give you a report.
Tell him come clean it up.
Right, anyway, I talked to Senator Nolan yesterday at the RFP Senior.
Yeah, yeah.
And I asked her where was the Snowy Mountain meeting gonna be, because I was afraid I had to arrange it, and I did. She said it's gonna be at the
Back
back,
porch, that's what I thought.
which I assumed would be, because Sarah, has been there many times, she likes that. But now Tanya says it's gonna be at the senior center. So which is it? You're on the board.
Well, you're an honorary board member. They don't talk to me.
You ought to read Nancy's article here too.
That's why I got it right here. I saw
I
it
will.
coming.
Let me read. I love to read that particular article. I haven't seen the paper yet.
And read it out loud with feeling.
No,
Do not.
do not,
No.
please.
But the other thing is, I got a notice from Johanna Wells, who's in One Health, that they're having a meeting in Lewistown on the same day, which I knew. And we said it'd be at 2 o'clock, but they don't have a time here. Cause I wanted to go to the Snowy Mountain annual meeting maybe, and then go to Lewistown.
Okay.
So I gotta send her an email, ask her what time. And why was the annual meeting at the senior center, cause I know they can't get the senior center.
They must have forgot about coming,
Is Teresa coming in at 2, do you think?
as far as I know.
Okay, I'm just
I knew
gonna-
she wasn't last week, and I didn't have her on the webs, or on the
You see
agenda.
that notice, we need to say something nice about Teresa. They're gonna honor her,
Yeah.
so I'm
There's
trying to
lots to
think of
say.
something nice to say.
Who's gonna honor her on the Stony Mountain?
Don't say that, I know what you're thinking.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Oh, the look in his eye,
Oh.
he's like, I gotta think of something nice to say, but what can I say that's nice?
I don't know, I was just reading it here.
As a around town kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like they did Virginia Carlson.
They nominated her for the most helpful person in Roundup,
Wow.
giving her some accolades. But if we wanna write something, we have to do it before the 15th,
Go ahead and
How much
write.
time?
That's tomorrow,
close to
day after tomorrow, I'm sorry.
it, within a day.
My brain.
Okay,
Well, that's
since,
good, we need to do that.
Of course.
So we're gonna put that in your court.
Oh, no.
I'm waiting to hear from the water board if we got the okay to run the water line down the road.
So Monty was going to approach the water board on your behalf, is that?
Not Monty, John, or, I got his name written down, John or Bob, whatever his name is.
Wow.
You're laughing, I don't
John
care.
or Bob?
Yeah, whatever their names, they got names? Oh, God.
from
That's
where?
that's horribly disrespectful.
I try to be.
But
The
John,
Central Montana Water was going to take they were going to consider it.
They were bringing it to the board,
To give
they
you,
met
give you,
on Wednesday, I think
Okay.
it was, cause I had my post meeting. The post authorized up to $750 if the survey is $1,500, cause that's what I asked for, to pay for the survey, to help pay for the survey. Isn't that what we agreed on?
is that the 10 acres or whatever? Well, yeah, now we're thinking 10 or 20.
On your dog.
It's up to you, it's your land,
I
it's not
know, but we're
ours.
gonna ask Jeremy what pros and cons of each, cause
Yeah.
there's a reason the 20 acres was dropped.
Because if we do the 10 acres, then we still have to go through the subdivision
Planning
stuff.
board.
Right? Gotta go through all that stuff all
But you know, that ain't a big deal, not
Yeah.
in this county.
But it's
not.
expensive.
We'd help you. Oh, man.
going through the subdivision administration?
Well, it's just with this.
But didn't you propose that if we
It's with
gave you 20, you would
WWC.
give us a $1 lease for
Yep,
10
forever.
for in perpetuity or
Forever.
whatever?
Forever, it'd be a 99-year lease.
Let's go over that with, cause you know, we don't.
I told you,
give
the
up.
reason why I wanna do it that way is
Yeah.
that if anything should ever happen, that building gets closed up because the American Legion's no more,
Yeah.
everything reverts back to the county. That's why I said to
You
you,
know, and that would be very
make
good.
sure that that is in the deed agreement.
Okay,
We can-
Like the transfer, so it never gets, nobody can ever take that land from the county. Whether we built a $500,000 building or not, it still comes back.
Yeah,
If we close up and that building's there, it's the county's.
A 99-year lease I would
Yeah.
support that, and it would still meet the requirements for a lender to make a loan on
Of course
it.
it was.
well, that way,
That sounds
that way it
good.
would be like we're,
Yeah, I never gave that a thought. I'm glad that you were able to find that.
I'm thinking ahead, because I've done it before.
Yeah.
And the county that actually gave, in South Carolina, gave us 40 acres to build a building. I leased back 30 of the acres for $1, and we had to do a picture ceremony so nobody could say it never happened. But I just gave the county council members $1 back after the pictures were taken, because why? To me, my word is good, but we still need signatures on paper, and I would much rather have it in the paperwork,
Oh, yeah.
cause I ain't living forever, despite what my brain says. And I wanna make sure that the county never loses that land if anything happens to the Legion.
Don't-
That way I don't have to do that irrevocable
we'll
trust or
pursue- We'll
nothing.
pursue that one.
Sure. That makes sense.
But I still want it in the paperwork that if anything happens to the American Legion post, all land, buildings, everything reverts back to the county.
So we could lease it to them for a term of years
We're leasing it back to the county, but
with the right to renew.
not after 99 years, you ain't gonna be here, neither am I.
Well, in
How
99
do you
years,
know?
somebody else can take care of it and worry about it. But in 99 years,
They have to give another dollar figuratively
Yeah.
on
If
paper.
they want.
if they want to keep it and maintain it.
Who knows what those guys 99 years from now do?
Yeah, no
Well, if
doubt.
they're anything like the ones I've been seeing run around town, I don't want nothing to do with them, so. But, no, seriously, I'm not just looking out for my post here, I'm looking out for my county. And even though my property goes in and out of Muscle Shell County and Rosebud County, this is still my community, because I'm a commander here.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking out for. I don't want that land to be developed by some mental midget who thinks the almighty buck is the way to go. That's not why we're doing this.
Well, what's wrong with that?
What did I say?
She's so tiny.
She's just calling me mental, it's fine.
In a midget.
And a midget.
Yeah, but she's a pretty midget, she's not mentally midget.
Did I
I didn't
miss
even,
that?
that mental part wasn't even supposed to be there, I was just
He
talking
was
about the midget.
referring to
It's a
me.
private
Yes.
joke evidently.
Yes, it is. We know each other, so.
Okay.
But
So you called Christina a midget?
absolutely.
You wouldn't be the first or the last.
I know.
It's okay.
But you see, when you guys aren't around and she's back at home and she shows up at the store when I'm having coffee, she's gonna kick me in shit.
It could happen.
She's vertically
It could
challenged.
happen.
It could
No,
happen.
she's not.
She's
You've never seen her jump.
Never mind, I'm not gonna get
She's
it.
not vertically
I'm
challenged. She
not
can
gonna
jump
get
and
it.
hit you.
No, never mind, I'm gonna stop right.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. But seriously, I'm looking out for the best interest of my
I'm
post
out of it.
and this county. You guys are willing to let us do this?
Yeah.
You bet I'm gonna look out for you.
I appreciate it.
I even asked Ben before your fireworks started earlier, do you want me to stay here for support in the council or what? He goes, no, we got this. I said, okay. I just grabbed the box of flags and left.
Well, it was actually, it was a productive discussion.
And if you have any flags that need to be burnt, now is the time to give them to me today.
Well,
Okay,
why don't we wait for a riot?
I think,
For a while.
Send them up to California, they can wave the Mexican flag and burn the
Oh, see,
American
we
flag.
don't do Mexican flag. I'm talking about US flags worn out that are getting.
I know you are.
I burn mine in my garden.
I'm being quick-witted here.
Yeah, kinda quick.
But we're doing a ceremony in Lewistown tomorrow morning.
Frank, did Cheryl by chance?
She gave me one box,
Okay, all right,
but
okay.
Bonadie told me that there was several. Or, okay, the other lady that's in, I don't know.
Gary Lynn?
I'm not even gonna.
I don't know, they got names.
Oh.
You do.
No, you can put that.
Yes,
I
they
said
do.
that
Frank, do you
about
want them
this.
to kick you in the shin too?
I'm into pain, I was married once. She was like her too. She growls when she gets mad, you know.
I do know.
Yes, you do. I heard you. I was in the store that day. I was like picking my feet up, I'm gonna get whacked or something.
Probably.
But that, I just want you to understand, I told you the last time I was here, I'm gonna let you know every step of the way of what's going on. So,
Okay.
and the reason that we were talking about the 20 acres is, what is the guy's name that you called in WWC?
Jeremy.
Jeremy said, you do the ag exemption for 40 acres.
Yeah.
And you give the Legion the 20. So, if you gave us the 20 and I said, okay, let's do this 99-year lease, that's where he comes in. And we take a picture of us exchanging $1, and that's the end of it. When the camera's off, I give it back, because I don't want your dollar. It's done. and have that clause in there that if anything, if the American Legion should ever fold, everything reverts back to the county. Unless they're a bunch of greedy guys and wanna sell shit and steal money.
Nah, we can figure it out. You know, there's a couple things we'd wanna add in there for covenants, you know, about, kind of what you're generally, covenants, about what generally you're using it for, and,
To build an American Legion post.
well, yeah, I know, that's easy, you know, but,
So what covenant?
covenant, I don't know.
Well, we
you're-
don't want
You're
any-
not gonna
any-
dispose of toxic waste and oil and stuff, and,
What's wrong with you? We all do that.
yeah.
Or have a commercial hog farm or something like
Oh,
that.
I got that one covenant at my place. I'm like, what?
Or you're gonna try and raise extra money by turning it into a slaughterhouse or something, you know, just the little things.
Because those are the things you'll sneak in. We-
Don't worry, there's not gonna be anything crazy with covenants, it's just.
Rules.
It's a standard thing.
It's a standard,
Rules.
they'll be easy.
Not in my world, it's not standard. There ain't no covenants when you're dealing with land. If there is, go find another piece. I'm kidding. I am, I'm joking. I kind of figured there's gonna be this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But again, I'm authorized to sign it, so
Alright,
Okay.
you write it
we'll
up.
be negotiable with you, mostly.
There ain't a whole lot to
We
negotiate.
have to do things that benefit us. Is how we work.
Seriously, I'm looking out for you guys too, for the county too. It's, you gotta understand, I think more than just here. I think the big picture, and I want everybody to be able to use the property when we set it up. That's why we're not putting a gate on it.
This sentence be taken out.
No, I'll facilitate the legal documents and everything, so it doesn't cost anybody.
Well, people start reading that.
And I figured if we put those,
There you go.
what do you call them, RV hookups on in there,
The road department.
when they're having this ride
We
and
talked about it.
rodeo and all, they can park
actually
their stuff
wanted to
up
get
there,
that
they're gonna
done.
get charged.
I thought I took it out.
Or you can charge
I
us
don't
as
know why-
a source of funding for the American
Gary Lynn's
Legion.
minutes, I couldn't even
Cover your
print.
power
Yeah,
bills and
Gary
stuff
Lynn
like
put
that.
it in there. Well, she was just
For
right.
the vet,
you
it's
know?
a certain price.
Well,
if they're
I
just
agree, but
neutral.
I'm saying my computer.
Works for me.
Yeah, but we're
And I
still
think
gonna
you
blame
have to have a
them.
gate or you.
Go ahead, blame me, it's all
No,
right.
nobody be up at the building, the gate will be at the building,
Oh,
Oh, I see.
not on the main
I got you,
entryway.
I got you, okay.
And the reason for that is we wanna make it into a park that people can just go have a picnic if they
Charlie.
want.
Mm-hmm.
No,
And
Charlie,
as long as they're
no,
not camping.
nothing down there? Okay, Frank, Cheryl must have them somewhere, so it's gonna have to be next time,
Okay.
cause I can't, I looked in all the
We're
drawers.
doing
and
it
the
twice a
lockers.
year now,
Okay.
but they're doing one in Lewistown tomorrow, which is my district. So I just said, yeah, I figure I'd try to empty her
Yeah,
office
yeah,
out.
okay, well, I knew there were some up on top, but she must have given you them.
And she gave me the one box, I don't know.
I think it's
where
pretty-
the others are.
Okay.
But CNC will throw in
I
the
know, we
labor
talked
and the
about it.
materials to run the water
then turn
line
it
for
over, then
free.
you just see that.
So,
Really?
yep,
Well, and are you maybe gonna get a tap for free? From Central
everything,
Montana?
what do you mean a tap? The
From
meter?
Yeah, Central
Yeah.
Montana Regional Water Authority. So
They're
you're
not
gonna have the contractor run it for free and you're gonna get, but then you'll have to pay a
material and
monthly.
labor.
You're gonna have to still pay a
Then you still,
monthly.
yeah, then we're a paying customer at that point.
Do you know what size you want? Because
They're bringing a 2-inch line down.
you realize that's not cheap.
Yeah, 2
We're
inch.
not paying for it.
Well, they're bringing a 2-inch line, but you'll pay a 2-inch monthly fee
Bill.
for
Monthly
water.
fee
for the
is
water.
high.
Hi.
Monthly fee is high.
Yeah, but it's, 2 inches isn't terrible. Like, for example, we got a 4-inch service at the fairgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
We pay $1,100 a month before we start paying consumption of the
Every
accounts. Every month.
We use the fairground.
We don't use it
So when
anymore.
this water came here, I think the thing that shocked everybody is what it's gonna cost them per month.
Yeah, the cost of it.
If you need a 2-inch, fine, if it's something you're gonna need to think about. But I don't know what a 2-inch is, it might be like
Well,
300
2 inches.
bucks.
Way too big for a building.
Well, the whole idea was to have a filling hydrant for the cistern for the fire suppression outside. In case there's ever a grass fire, where we can hold it back until the fire department comes.
We might just have to fill it slower. You know,
Fill it up once,
yeah, it's up to you, but I'm just warning you.
You might wanna reconsider,
Yeah.
talk to someone else who has experience with the water part.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
You can still have your big container that you're talking about.
right? So you guys are thinking I should just have them run a 1-inch line?
Yeah.
You need to have them
It's
run
the
what you think you
expense,
need.
it's your monthly
Let's
But
expense.
be aware it's gonna cost you monthly.
I didn't know they did it that way, see?
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
learning all this
Yeah.
stuff.
That stuff they just came up
Well,
with.
we learned that the hard way. We did all this work down at the fairgrounds, 4-inch service. We oversized the service
Yeah,
for
you
future
should.
expansion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then we got told, well, that 4-inch is gonna cost you $1,100 a month. Whether
That's
you use
before
the
you
car-
use water.
Yeah,
Correct.
they told us that after we completed the work.
Yeah.
Oh,
And one of the things, in addition to the camping sites, we also had this fill-up station
That's the
for fire, see?
right.
That's why we were able to use some of that money, because we're calling this a fire station. Well, my gosh,
You can't.
that's what's so expensive.
Yep. And all's we're gonna, what we were talking about at our meeting Wednesday was to get a 15,000 or a 20,000 gallon cistern, have it full, have all the connections set up in case there's a fire.
Yeah.
And if you're not thinking that far ahead, then you might as well just shoot yourself in the head, because it's gonna happen. It's not if, it's when. This is Montana, fire season. Somebody flick a cigarette out there now, oh my God. As soon as everything turns brown, we watched it, 3 years in a row now? Fire coming right up the valley. I mean, there's nothing you can do to stop it unless there's a calm during the storm and they get ahead of it. So I'm thinking ahead, and somebody said, well, put a sprinkler system in and we just have a float valve set up to fill it. I said, you can't do it that way. The filling hydrant requires a hose. You lift the cap up, put the hose in, and open up the hydrant. Oh, okay. I said, you know, if you're really that mentally retarded, tell us so you don't have that job. And they just started laughing. They knew what I was getting at. I said, it's the pull of a lever.
I don't know what to tell you if these aren't right. Let me on self, I mean it.
So that's what my report to you guys.
I'll bet you they're perfect.
Oh, look at, no.
So now we're just waiting for the survey, right? I keep whistling, friggin' new teeth.
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to Jeremy, maybe this afternoon,
Have they noted that?
kick loose the survey and determine how we're gonna do 20 or 10 acres.
And
I think we
put that
kind
on
of
the
talked
sign
about
like a
conceptually if we can
commissioner.
lease back with.
We
the
should have a line on
We
there.
should have a line on here.
It's just that we don't wanna give any more land away than we have to, but if we're really not giving it away, although having to go through the planning board is not gonna be an issue for you.
Yeah, how much is that?
Well, it doesn't really cost anything, I don't think, or is it, what's
What
What's
are
that?
that?
doing? It's pretty expensive.
For what?
To go through the planning board if they have to.
Oh, no.
It's not that big a deal.
It's just
They're a
whatever,
county planning board.
whatever
But what they
WWC.
do is they make sure that you
Extension
got
area
roads that
cost.
meet specs and, you know, they got, there's certain things they have to check with us.
These sides are all right.
So, trying to avoid that is not
Trying to
necessary.
minimize it is what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
do.
we can talk to them about that, but,
I don't think that it
Oh,
would even need to go to the
right.
planning board.
what's that?
Would it
The
even
notes
need to
in
go to
this
the
calendar
planning board?
are
Well,
about
apparently if it's
Teresa.
under, if it's
Oh,
under
okay.
20 acres,
That
it
guy
might.
knows.
It has to, that's what I was told by,
Oh,
But I'm saying even if
If
it
it's a
does, that's not the end of the
subdivision.
world.
yeah.
If it's, if
But
they're
the
going
other-
through the subdivision process.
Yeah, and if they do the ag exemption, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go through a subdivision. That's what Jeremy said. But if it's less than that, if it's less than 20 acres, then you gotta start the
Right.
whole damn thing
So
over.
that would be an easy just go through, do it 20 acres,
No.
especially it's a
Just
99
lease
year
it back.
lease.
I mean, I think.
Yeah, it's a
we-
99
Yeah, I think that's probably where we might be headed.
And then it won't
Yeah,
have to
that's
go
one
through the
way.
planning board, and it's just a a certificate of survey. And it's gonna be WWC
Yeah.
doing it, cause it,